All right, y'all, what's going on? It's Combo Breaker 99 back with another video. All right, y'all, back with a real quick one here. I just saw this announcement from Molly McCann, and I just kind of want to get my quick thoughts on it here. As y'all know, Molly McCann suffered another loss. This is back-to-back submission losses for her now. Saturday night to Julia Stoyarenko, and Molly McCann has now come down to the conclusion that it would probably be best for her to move down in weight. All right. She had put this up, this little announcement right here. She said, "We have one more adjustment to make, and I believe that will make all the difference in the world. The smallest in the division makes it tough when the opponents are so much bigger. So for me, it's time to drop down and face the girls who are the same size. To all the keyboard warriors who will give me down the banks and want to tell me about myself, to go ahead. I'm living my dream every single day. I'm winning in life, the best teams around me, the best promotion in the world. The game has given me everything, and I am beyond blessed." All right. So, yeah, Molly McCann, she's coming down to the conclusion that it's time to move down to 115. She's too small for the division, and that's the best choice for her. So all y'all keyboard warriors, y'all can talk all the trash y'all want. That's what I'm about to do right now. Nah, I'm just playing. You know me, look. When fighters or, boxers or anybody says all these people are just keyboard warriors, to a certain extent, there are keyboard warriors out there. I have keyboard warriors on my channel, that just talk and never even, laced up a glove or never been even punched in the face before or choked out, right? But when it comes down to it, yeah, I experienced some of that. Of course, not a pro fighter, but I don't think it takes a pro fighter to tell you whenever somebody's making the wrong choice or they need to brush up in something, right? I always go by this saying, it's like, you don't have to be a great actor or film director to know when a movie's bad or the acting just sucks in a movie, right? You don't have to know that, right? That's why millions of fans go. They're the reason that movies make money, right? It's not just because a movie's good. It all depends on if these millions of fans want to go see that movie and they give it a high ranking when they see it. Of course, you could say, "Oh, my story's good all day long and my camera work is great, the cinematography is great, the story, everything's just put together, right?" But when it all comes down to it, it's the fans, right? It's the fans that are going to make that movie some money. You can say all day long, "Oh, y'all don't know how to work a camera," none of that. "Oh, yeah, well, I know how to give you money for your movie." That's how it works out. So when fans, they pay for a pay-per-view, they pay for a ticket, and they see somebody come up short, their favorite fighter comes up short, and they're disappointed with their performance, and they say, "Oh, this person should have done this and that." Well, they're your longtime fan. They've been watching you, so they know your strengths and your weaknesses. They know what you need to be doing at this point. So it's not like they're bashing you, but they're telling you that, hey, this is what you need to be doing. Whether you listen or not, that's on you, right? You don't have to listen to fans, but I think there comes a time whenever the majority is saying something, hey, maybe it is something I need to work on, right? So with that being said, I just see, whenever fighters take that approach, that's kind of a way out to say, "Oh, I don't need to improve," right? You don't know nothing, right? But yeah, I just kind of see it that way sometimes when fighters make that, they make that statement. And it's kind of like that in this case here. Molly McCann moving down to 115. My thoughts on that. Let me see. Well, let me look back at Jillian Robertson. Jillian Robertson, she was a fighter that felt like, I would fare better. She gave it her, I got to give both fighters credit. They have tried, and Jillian Robertson has tried as well. She's fought a lot of different fighters, different looks, different sizes at 125. And, it all came down for her to say, maybe it would be better for me to move down to 115. And I can look at Jillian Robertson's body and her frame and say, okay, maybe this would be better for her. Maybe her skill set would suit her better, but maybe also her frame would fare better here because she is kind of a thin frame fighter, right? And I've seen that in boxing. I've seen it in boxing many a time where guys have to move down because they can't get guys respect with their power. They're in the wrong weight class. They can't move guys. Guys are moving them, so when they move down, it works out better for them. But not all the time. Not all the time, because you know what it is sometimes? It's not the size. It's the skill. All right? It's the skill. And that's the question I have to ask myself and y'all right now is like, is Molly McCann's move down really because of size discrepancy, or is it because of limited skills? And in my opinion, again, no bashing the fighter, I think, because I've seen all of Molly McCann's fights, I think Molly McCann's move down is more based off of her being limited. Let's be real. Molly McCann, when we mention her name or see her as a fighter, we think of her as more of a boxer, kickboxer, mover, shaker, right? She likes to move and jab and brawl a little bit, come in with those spinning back fists, and then she's finding her range again, and she's using that lateral movement, moving around, right? She's not a grappler. She's not a wrestler. Doesn't really do much of that. So now that one skill set that she hasn't really put her into the rankings or continued her win streak, which she was on, after Luana Carolina, Hannah Goldie, and one other fighter, right? She was on a 3-fight win streak against lesser opponents, and it hasn't been working out against fighters like Aaron and Julia Stoyarenko. They feel like it would be better to move down. But to me, off of the evidence of past losses and these most recent losses, I don't see it being a size discrepancy, because when you look at her skills, and maybe if she added a little bit more to her game, I think she would have fared well against Erin Blanchfield, even Julia Stoyarenko. Some people thought that she was going to light up Erin Blanchfield. Some people thought that. And she might have if she had a couple other skill sets, which I'll talk about here in a minute. So when it comes down to it, I think it's more so because she's limited, and the evidence is in her losses to Jillian Robertson, to Erin Blanchfield, and Julia Stoyarenko. It's that she just doesn't have a ground game. Molly McCann just doesn't really have a ground game. She doesn't have great takedown defense. She doesn't really have wrestling. She doesn't really have that hip control when she's on the ground to pop back up. She doesn't really have that ability to get takedowns and neutralize fighters if she wanted to. She doesn't really have that Joanna takedown defense where she can bounce to the cage or she can sprawl real quick. She just doesn't have those attributes when she's in there, that type of physical strength. And I don't think it's because she's too small. I think it's just because they don't really work on that too much. Maybe it's just something that just doesn't click with her either if they do. Because Miranda Maverick, she's a shorter fighter for the division, has a muscular frame, but at 5'3", I believe, 5'3", 5'4", I think that she's just right for the division. I think it just comes down to some of the choices that she's making in there. And same with Molly McCann. I think it comes down to the choices that she makes as a fighter, because if her takedown defense was at least a B or B minus, I think that she would be winning more fights against these other fighters, against these bigger fighters, that she claims, is too much for. Because if you look at her performance against Tyler Santos, I thought she could have fared well. Like if she had better takedown defense and wrestling, or even like a better clinch game, her size was okay. She was landing on Tyler Santos. She was landing that right hand. She had the speed to even outbox and, control the fight. But the minute Tyler Santos started taking her down, she didn't really have that plan B. And that's just from what I was seeing. Same with the Erin Blanchfield fight. Like if she would have started measuring range early and just started putting hands together, and if she could like sprawl real quick or use like takedown defense, like you see Ariane Lipsky. Ariane Lipsky's not big for the division. She's a thin fighter. She's kind of longer and, long and slim, and look at her. She's starting to improve in her game, even with her takedown defense. That's why she's controlling fights now, because she has the power. As long as she has the takedown defense, at least if she has like an A and B to go to, she can control fights, right? So Molly doesn't really have a B to go to. She just has that A, that boxing. I know early in her career she did beat Ariane Lipsky, and that should be proof to her that, hey, look, if I add a little bit more to my game, I might be a little bit sharper. Or if she looks at girls like Ariane Lipsky, or even like J.J. Aldridge, if J.J. Aldridge pulled the trigger more, those girls, they are okay for the division as far as size, but they just need to add more to their game plan, right? So, yeah, I think Molly McCann is just like the opposite of Jillian Robertson here. But Jillian Robertson, I think when you look at her frame, she does look more like a strawweight. I think, with that frame that she has, she's real thin. She's more like lean muscle. She can move down. But, like, Molly McCann, I never really thought of her as a strawweight. I mean, let me look at her frame here. I just want to make sure I can pinpoint her height and reach for the division again. I just want to make sure I'm looking at it right, because hang on one second, we're gonna look at Molly McCann here. So Molly McCann, she's about 5'4", an inch taller than Miranda Maverick, and she's got a 62-inch reach. So yeah, even I'm looking at the picture here, she's kind of thick for the division. She's not really like this heavy girl, or she's not like this thin girl. She kind of falls in the middle. So I don't really think it is the weight, man. I think with her, it's just the fact that she is more so one-dimensional. And what is that I always say? Like, being one-dimensional can lead to an early grave in MMA. You know what I mean? So you have to look at the dimensions, and you have to look at some of the things that you're not doing and you're not learning, and things you're too comfortable doing in there. In this case, it's not really the weight. Like I said, she's kind of like the opposite of Jillian Robertson, where Jillian's a ground fighter with no hands really, or she's working on her hands. Molly McCann, she's more of a boxer with less of a ground game. But if she had that ground game and takedown defense, I think she would be doing fine, because she has racked up wins in this division. She has shown that she can move and that she can clinch up and move girls. But I think it's just kind of the approach, because look at the Julia Stoyarenko takedown. Like, it was like she was lost in there, even when she was put on her back. I don't know if it was just full on size there. It just didn't seem like she knew how to control. Maybe it's just something they really need to work on. So yeah, we'll see though, man. Molly McCann feels like the move down is going to help her. We'll see. I think the first step is making the weight. But even if she moves down, she has to understand that 115, you're going to have strikers that move quicker than you. And you're going to have well-rounded fighters too. Because that's what a lot of these fighters don't understand. They think they can move right down, but they don't understand these girls on the come up. They are coming in more well-rounded. They're coming in with more of a well-rounded base, that they understand that they have to grow in more than one discipline. They may not be the best right now, but they're all coming in with different gears. They're testing them out in the cage. And let that be the day whenever Molly McCann faces somebody like a Demopoulos or a Tabitha Ricci, and she thinks she can outspeed him, and boom, they take her down, submit her the same way. They're going to realize, ooh, should have worked on my takedown defense, right? Or worked on my ground game, my jiu-jitsu. So yeah, we'll see how she looks when she moves down to 115, but I think she'll be in the same situation as Jillian Robertson. I think it'll come down to, again, being able to have A, B, and C when you in there. You got to have A, B, and C. Jillian Robertson submitted Pierre Rodriguez, but second fight in against Ricci, she lost. Why? Because she really couldn't keep up with the hand game, and she couldn't really even get good takedowns in the fight. So there were things that she could see. Okay, it's not just size, it's skills, it's technique. So Molly McCann, I think she'll face the same thing. Like I said, strawweight is more striker oriented, but you're still getting well-rounded girls versus flyweight, which is grappler heavy, but they strike too. Those girls hit too. So yeah, Molly McCann just needs to tighten up a little bit, or a lot of bit, add a little bit more to her ground game. And I think she would do okay at 125 if she becomes more of a well-rounded fighter. Look at Valentina. Valentina isn't a huge strawweight. So it isn't a huge flyweight. Valentina's not a huge flyweight. And look how she's doing it. She's doing it with being a multi-dimensional fighter. So Molly McCann can't really use size as a discrepancy here. It can't be that. It's just not that, in my opinion. I mean, I've never said she was too small. It always came down to just seeing her lacking something against opponents she was fighting. Even the biggest fighters like Santos, I said. Grasso, these girls are filling out. Grasso's not the biggest flyweight. Grasso and Valentina, they're not the biggest flyweights. Hell, look at Rose is about to take her chance moving up too. And, we're all kind of wondering what she can do. But people are still giving Rose somewhat of a chance against Manon. You know why? It's because she's not limited. She's not limited. So anytime there's a situation where a fighter just feels like they need to move down at the bottom and they're losing a lot, you just have to kind of look and say, is it the weight or is it the skill set? But when you look at the top, sometimes you can say, okay, this fighter, they might be too small, but they have a chance because they're not limited. They have more skills. We say Wei Lee might be too small. Shoot, she moved up to 125. She might do all right. Why? Because she's not limited. She's got skills. She's learning, getting better. All right? So yeah, Molly McCann, don't dislike her. I like Molly. She's an entertainer, and after going on a 2-fight losing streak now, I mean, business wise, it probably would be better for the move to 115 again, because she can get those gimme fights and put on a show for her people. They're always coming to see her. Like I said, you don't have to be a champion to be a star, and it'll work out for her as long as she continues to fight the lower level fighters. But you can only do that for so long, right? You know, but I don't know. Dana will probably keep her as long as her fan base is coming out. So we'll see. But yeah, guys, what do y'all think in the comment section? Yeah, personally, I think that Molly's not too small for a flyweight. I think that if she just added more to her game, more of a ground game, wrestling game, maybe worked with like Uriah Faber, somebody that can help her learn how to fight better on the inside and even control and keep her balanced and fight that gritty fight against the cage. I think she would definitely improve. Yeah, but let me know, guys, what y'all think. Combo Breaker 99, I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.